What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and don't worry, the face cam won't be here the whole time. I will minimize myself shortly, but in this video I'm going to be showing you guys some of the best UFC Undisputed 3 features. I was going to do the whole UFC Undisputed series, but that would only have been to do Octagon interviews from 2010. So that gets an honourable mention right off the start. And obviously I've been playing a lot of UFC Undisputed 3. You guys have really been enjoying watching it. I've been enjoying playing it. And I just thought, you know what, we'll make a whole video talking about some of the best features. And also, this kind of video really shows up UFC 4. Through editing it, I'm like, my god, this game was so ahead of its time. So yeah, let me minimize myself and let's jump into it. So the first clip you guys will see are just fighters falling out cold. The way the bodies fall is just brutal. I mean, they really got the ragdoll animation down to a T in this game. Like, I've never seen a body fall the same way twice. It always falls different. There's always a limb in some different direction. And you can see when you knock somebody completely out cold, they are out. I mean, there is animations for afterwards. You can see there's two different animations here. One with Kane up against the cage, and Brock is by himself in the middle of the octagon, because obviously Kane's not been able to get back up, which I just think is something that's so criminally underrated. And then you'll see here again a different animation when Frank Mir knocks the living shite out of Brock Lesnar. You'll see again Frank in the octagon after the knockout, and you'll see Brock confused, but in a different way. You saw Frank sitting up against the cage, whereas this time we see Brock Lesnar still sitting up, but he's not against the cage. The coaches aren't trying to touch his face. He doesn't really know where he is, and yet again Frank Mir is just by himself in the middle of the octagon, and Brock is nowhere to be seen, which is something that is just criminally underrated in this game, but something I love. Now, I know you guys love this next one, and that is real TKOs. I try to use as many different fighters as possible and try and get as many different TKO positions. And I know this is something you guys love, because obviously in recent UFC games, especially UFC 4, it is either knock them out cold or lose the fight. Whereas this, you have real TKOs, real ground and pound. And then one thing you'll also notice through these TKOs, as well as some knockouts that I will show, is the ref actually pushes you off. You can see they are not defending themselves, they're getting pounded on. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you can move your head out of the way, but you can see here a real TKO. None of these fighters are actually out cold through this situation. They are all still awake, but they're just not with it. They're not defending themselves intelligently. They're getting their head bashed in, and the ref does what he can to save the fighter the best he can. And you'll see sometimes it's not just the basic positions. There is so many TKO positions. I couldn't get them all in this video. There are so many TKO positions that you can get throughout this game. And not to mention the elbows on the ground, things that we just don't see these days. Something that you really should see. But you can see there, sometimes they're not even fully rocked. They're just getting pounded on. They recovered from the rock, but they're not defending themselves. The ref has seen enough and will scoop in and push the fighter off, defending the fighter who's getting their ass pounded in. And the final two clips you'll see here is an out cold ground and pound, where the fighter is already out cold, and then I follow up with the ground and pound, and the ref still comes up and pushes you off. The ref is on his way beforehand, only lets you get a couple of shots in, and pushes you off before the fighter takes too much damage. Now the next part is arena and ref selection. I know that arena selection is already in all of the UFC games, but I really like the idea of the ref selection. Also being able to see the arenas beforehand, as well as having the UFC gym as one of the arenas, as well as just a random selection. And then you get to pick through your referees. So we get to see, you know, all the great refs we see here. Herb Dean, Mario Yamazaki letting people die, Eva Ving, Dan Miragliotta, Josh Rosenthal. I can't think of the other guy's name, but you know, always great to see these refs, and I really like the ref selection idea. I know it's really minuscule, but I always liked it. Now the next one we go on to is something that would be cool to have in the new games, especially in Esports Boxing Club, but that is corner advice. You can see Jose Aldo's gone to the corner with his face, a fucking mess. Cub Swanson is being told his negatives. You should throw your strong strikes on the ground, stronger punches on the ground, and they give you advice. They give you your pros and cons between rounds. As you see there for Jose Aldo, his negative is you need to block his transitions, but they try and give you a positive. If you have a really great round, they say we see no bad areas. Just, you know, carry on with what you're doing, get your timing right, and see what happens. And I really like this. It gives you genuine advice for the fight that's happened. Sometimes it gives you things wrong where it's like, go to the ground. As you see there, it says, good fight so far, keep it up, I don't see any bad areas. Sometimes it will give you advice like, take this fighter down even though he's a jiu-jitsu artist. But most of the time, the advice is pretty good. And in career, it genuinely does help. And it's also really realistic. The corner's genuinely helping you out. And now the next one we go on to is everybody's favourite, and that is Doctor Stoppage. Now, Doctor Stoppage comes in two things. Firstly, the ref stops the fight, brings the doctor in. The doctor comes to have a look at you. He has a look around your face. He nods to the ref. It's all good. Carry on. So the fight gets back against his corner, and the fight will continue. But it's not long until that cut becomes too much, and yet again, the ref will break up the fight, say, hold on a sec, let's bring the doctor back in for a second time. Then the doctor will come in, have a look, and wave the fight off, which is awesome. There's nothing better than getting a good cut and a good doctor stoppage in this game. And I wish it was something that was in all fighting games, and I genuinely hope this is an Esports Boxing Club. Then we go on to the longer parts of this video where I've got two fights to show you guys, and that is one of the best features. If you call it a feature or a mode, I don't really know, but the best feature, hands down, in any UFC game ever is Pride mode. This is legendary. This mode is incredible. I absolutely love it. I honestly cannot get enough of it. It's so unique. It's so brutal. It's got certain rule sets that you have to abide by. I think it's fucking awesome. Now, just while we watch these Pride fights, I'm just going to cover something really quick because I'm sure people will ask why I haven't brought things up like the career mode when it comes to the banners, the shorts customization. And the reason I haven't covered that is because, in my opinion, there is no need to in this video. Because the banner and the short is something that the UFC have taken out in real life. So we cannot expect the new games to have it when it's not in real life. You know, we don't have, the only things people really have is flags these days in UFC. But other than that, there is no real banners. There are no customization of shorts. There are no proper sponsors in the UFC these days. Especially since obviously the Reebok deal and now the Venom deal. So I thought I'm not going to cover that because that's not something UFC actually control or EA can actually control. But things like doctor stoppages, TKOs, the ref pushing you off, these corner advice, these are all things that EA could control within their game, which is why I have mentioned those things in this video. So I'm going to let you guys enjoy the end of this Pride fight. Feel free to stick it out and watch it. This is actually a pretty good fight, to be honest. And you can see as well, I just wanted to point out really early, it was actually kind of perfect because I was going to cover it anyways. But in this second Pride fight, you can see at that very start when Wanderlei Silva got dropped, he wasn't hurt. It was a complete stun, like shock drop, you know what I mean? A flash drop, sorry, yes, that's it, a flash knockdown. And that is something that happened in this game. If you go to throw a punch and an opponent gets their punch to you first, 9 times out of 10, they will hurt you more, possibly rock you, possibly drop you. But Wanderlei Silva wasn't hurt. He was just flash dropped. And that's also something that we don't see often these days. But I'm excited to see it in Esports Boxing Club. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let me know your favourite feature from UFC Undisputed 3. I generally think it's brilliant. I think Pride is without a doubt the best thing to happen to the UFC Undisputed 3 series. And, you know, doctor stoppages, things like that were just standard, are brilliant. As well as this vicious KO to end the video, while I did apparently talk the whole time. So I do apologise for that. But thanks always for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe down below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
ただいまの試合、勝者ジラン・マダーラ